Hey, my name is Dr. Derek Nilsson. I'm a physical therapist. I'm the founder and owner of this clinic, Kaizen Physical Therapy, where we really help people who have tried other PT, chiropractic, massage, acupuncture. They want to avoid pain meds, injections, and absolutely want to avoid surgery. That's who I help. But today I want to talk about the 4 best ways to diagnose what's causing your pain. And so that you can see the presentation, I'm actually going to take my face away, but I wanted to at least introduce myself. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 best ways to diagnose what's causing your pain. Here's number 1 is your story. Number 2 is what does it feel like. 3 is movement, and then 4 are my hands. So let's dive into your story. So number 1 is your story is, when did the pain start? Was there an injury or did it come on gradually? So this question is really getting at, right, like I say right there, was there an injury? Was there some sort of traumatic event? Because I know the majority of people that I see in the clinic, their pain came on gradually, or they had an injury in the past, and things should be well past the healing point, but yet there's still pain. That tells me that there's some sort of compensation occurring if pain came on gradually, or there was an injury a long time ago and healing has occurred, but yet there's still pain. That question gets at, is there compensation or is there actually damage that's causing the pain? Number 2 is what makes the pain worse or what makes it better. So does sitting make it better than standing, or does lying in bed make it better than sitting, or walking, running, bending forwards? What makes the pain better? What makes it worse? So this question is getting at, is there a movement problem? So if some movement makes the pain better while some movement makes the pain worse, that tells me that you have a movement problem and we need to look at movement and identify where the faulty movement patterns are that's causing the pain. So next we have, what have you tried? So what have you tried to get help? What has helped? So have you tried surgery? You tried rest, massage, chiropractic, physical therapy, pain meds, steroid injections? What have you tried to get help? And what has helped? What hasn't helped better? So this helps me identify, this helps me say, okay, I need to go a different direction than what you've already tried. Because the closer we are to the target, like this shows, even if it hasn't helped, that still gets us closer to the target, because now we're identifying what hasn't helped and we try something else. Okay, so the next one is going to be, did you think? Let's jump into this. So one thing I didn't ask was about x-rays and MRIs. If I come back here, I didn't ask you, what is your diagnosis? What does the x-ray or the MRI say? And the reason why I didn't ask that is because typically I don't really need to know. And here's why, is because just because you have pain doesn't necessarily mean that there's damage. And if we look at this scientific research studies here, this shows 75% of people in their 20s had a disc bulge in their neck, but yet no pain. Almost 88% of people in this entire study had a disc bulge in their neck but had no pain. So just because you have something on your x-ray or MRI doesn't always mean it's the cause of your pain. Same thing in the shoulder. 72% of people in this study had a slap injury, which is a labral tear in their shoulder, but no pain. Low back, 80% of people in the study had disc degeneration in their spine, but no pain. 36% of people had a disc protrusion, which is a herniated disc, but yet they had no pain. 69% of people in this study had a labral tear in their hip, again, no pain. And 43 out of 44 people had a meniscus abnormality in their knee, but yet no pain. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you, but just know that even if you do have something that shows up like arthritis, degenerative disc disease, meniscus tear, labral tear, bulging disc, it doesn't always mean that it's the cause of pain. And I'll tell you, from helping people for years now, the far majority of the time, this stuff isn't what the cause of pain is. It's more about compensation, and I will dive into that in a moment. Next, we want to say, okay, what does the pain feel like? So is it sharp? Is it dull? Is there shooting? Is it tingling, numbness, burning? Is there heaviness? So sharp can tell me more than likely muscular. Dull ache can tell me that there's some sort of possible referral pain occurring, which I'll dive into that in a minute. Shooting pain, same thing, referral. And then tingling, numbness, and burning is more of a nerve sensation. Heaviness is more of a nerve sensation as well. So I will dive into these more in just a moment. And then if we go into movement, let's talk about movement. This also helps me identify what's causing your pain. So let me play this video here.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about movement and how I approach a movement, or how I approach movement. So first, I approach movement by looking at the entire body, not just the area that hurts. I'll say this a couple times. The area that hurts is often in pain because it's overworked, because somewhere else isn't working like it should. Compensation. Really, you can sum that up with compensation. Our bodies are so great at compensating that if all you do is treat pain, you're gonna have a really hard time finding a long-term solution to the problem. The way to treat pain is find where the root cause of the problem actually is and fix that, which oftentimes, again, it's very, very rare that the area that hurts is the actual root cause of the problem. So let me show you how I approach a movement. So we start by going feet together. We start by looking at the neck. So if you go chin to your chest, try to reach down, touch your chin to your chest. Is there any tightness? Is there any discomfort? Is there pain? What do you feel with that movement? Next, we go and look up. Same thing. Any tightness, pain, discomfort. So there we have two movements. We've got neck flexion, neck extension. Then we look at rotation left, rotation right. We compare those two. Does left feel different than right? Is there any tightness, discomfort, pain, anything? What do you feel? And from that point, we can start identifying, okay, we can take gravity out of the equation, so we can do these same exact movements with you lying down on your back. Does it, let's assume that you have some discomfort when you look left when you rotate your head left. Well, I don't know what the problem is other than there's some discomfort there. But I can start to identify, if I lay you on your back and have you rotate your head, does it feel better? Does it look better? If that's the case, if let's say you have pain here, you lay on your back, you rotate your head left, and it opens right up and it's pain-free, I know you have a stability problem that needs to be fixed. We need to work on left neck rotation, stability. And so we can start to identify, is there a mobility problem? Let's say you lay down on your back and you rotate your head left, but it's still painful, it's still tight, it's still some discomfort. Then I know you have a mobility problem that we need to start treating right away. Okay, so the next thing is we can look at the shoulders. We do the same concept. So we go arm behind our back. Can you touch the opposite shoulder blade? Arm behind the back. Can you touch the opposite shoulder blade? Do they feel different? Does one feel tight, discomfort, or painful? Now, what this movement does is it brings two different movements into one. So with the shoulder, by doing this, we're getting shoulder extension, but we're also getting shoulder internal rotation. So if you have pain, discomfort, tightness here, I don't know what the problem is until I look at it, look at those movements individually. So I need to say, okay, is there a shoulder extension problem? Is there a shoulder internal rotation problem? And that requires me laying you on your stomach and looking at your shoulder. The thoracic spine also plays a role in this movement, so we would have to address that as well if that's a problem. Opposite side, so same thing. And then we go arms up overhead. Okay, is there any tightness, discomfort, pain? And I'm a little bit tight in that direction. And that really takes shoulder flexion. It also takes shoulder external rotation. And again, I don't know where the problem is. Just by looking here, I have to lay you down. Is it mobility? Is there a stability problem? And where is it actually coming from? Is it coming from the flexion? Is it coming from the rotation? Or it can be coming from the spine where the root cause of the problem actually is. The next one we want to look at is toe touch. Can you touch your toes? Is there a pull in your lower back? There should be no pull in your low back. You should just feel some slight hamstring stretching there. That's completely normal. But again, if this hurts or it's discomfort or you can't go all the way down, I don't know where the problem is, because what happens here is we have spine flexion, but we also have hip flexion. So we have to dive into those and say, okay, where is the root cause of the problem actually coming from? Next one, if I rotate left and rotate right, does one side feel different? Does it look different? Painful, discomfort, tightness. And again, in order for you to rotate, it takes ankle rotation, it takes hip rotation, and it takes spine rotation. So we have to dive into all three of those. If this doesn't look right, or it feels painful, or tightness, we'd have to dive into all three of those areas to see where the root cause of the problem actually is. And then next one is bending backwards. Let me get to the side here. Bending backwards. Is there low back tightness, which there should not be? And then do you have the full amount of mobility? And that takes hip extension. It also takes back extension. So again, I don't know where the problem is if I don't dive into each of those, if there is some tightness, pain, discomfort with that movement. Next one we do is we look at balance. Can you hold here for 10 seconds without being wobbly? Same thing, 10 seconds on the opposite side without wobbling. And that takes hip and core and ankle stability. And again, I don't know where the problem is. If it's not, if you're wobbling all over the place, I don't know where the problem is. I know there's a problem, but it could be your ankle, it could be your hip, or it could be your core. And we have to identify where the actual root cause of the problem is coming from. And then lastly is just a squat. So that takes hip flexion, takes low back flexion, it takes upper back extension, and so we have to dive into that. Okay, so I hope this didn't confuse you more, but I want to just let you know that the area that hurts oftentimes is in pain because somewhere else isn't working like it should. And in order to find the real root cause of the problem, it's not about saying, okay, does that hurt? Well, let's fix that where that pain's at. That just doesn't work. In the short term, it might work, but long term, we have to identify what movements hurt, what movements are tight, what movements are discomforting, and find out, is there a mobility problem in that area of the body? Is there a stability problem in that area of the body? And treat that outside of just treating pain.
Okay, cool. So that really, like I said at the end there, I hope that didn't confuse you more than anything. I just wanted to show you a little bit more about how we start to, or how I start to identify where the root cause of the problem is with movement, because typically it is either a mobility problem or a stability problem, but the area that hurts usually is in pain because it's compensating for somewhere else that isn't working like it should. So there's number 3 of how we start to identify the problem. So it's movement, it's your story, and if we go back, let me go back to present. It's your story, and if we go to when did the pain start, what makes it better, what makes it better, what makes it worse, this starts to help me identify where the root cause is coming from. What have you tried helps me identify what I shouldn't do, or what maybe what we need to do more of. And then like I said, rarely do I need to see your x-ray or MRI. What does it feel like? And then movement, and then lastly, my hands. My hands are huge with identifying where the problem is. So my hands will tell me with feedback from you what feels tight, what feels tender, what hurts, and is there referral pain. So if we jump into referral pain, what that is, I've got a video here as well. Okay, so let's talk about referral pain. Let's first talk about what that is. Referral pain really is where the pain you feel in a certain area is actually coming from somewhere else. So referral pain, a very common type of referral pain is a heart attack. You can be having a heart attack, but one of the signs could be some arm numbness. So that is a referral pain, and that type of stuff does happen a lot over the body. So I want to help you understand where the more common ones that I see are. So if I zoom in here, one of the most common ones for headaches, let me get rid of this, it comes from the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So there's a muscle in here, right there, that can refer into headaches. So if you're suffering from headaches in the forehead, top of the forehead, behind the eye, even some ear pain, jaw pain can be coming from there. This upper trap can cause some headaches as well. And then if we go into shoulder pain, so pain in the front of the shoulder, or tingling into the hand, or numbness into the arm, or even a dull ache that you feel into the arm. A lot of times that's coming from this rotator cuff muscle, the infraspinatus. The teres minor can also cause that, teres major. All three of those can cause referral pain down the arm, like I said, tingling, numbness, or even burning into the arm and hand. And those will also cause pain in the front of the shoulder if you have pain there. Next one, let me back up here. Next one, we have like more common low back, even just low back pain can actually be coming from the glutes. So the muscles in the butt there, they can refer up into the low back. Sciatica, so tingling, numbness, burning down the leg, oftentimes is coming from the glutes. I treat a lot of sciatica, and I'll tell you that this area is the root cause of the far majority of sciatica sufferers. If you have it down the backside, glutes, if you have pain into the front here, oftentimes that's a referral pain from the tensor fascia lata, can refer down into the front. Even if you have pain into, say, the top of the foot, let me come back here. If you have pain into the top of the, oops, sorry about that. If you have pain in the top of the foot, the TFL, tensor fascia latae, can refer down even as far down into the top of the foot or the front of the shin. Those are kind of the more common ones. Knee pain, if you have pain directly in the front of the knee, this quadricep muscle here, rectus femoris, or even one of these other ones, they can refer down into the front of the knee. If you have pain on the inside of the knee, typically it's coming from one of these three muscles that attach right here and go up the inside of the thigh. So anyways, the point I wanted to make here, I try not to say too much because I don't want to confuse you more than anything, but oftentimes the area that hurts isn't where the root cause of the problem is. We can identify that with is there referral pain, and obviously I look at movement as well. Those two combined help me identify where the root cause of the problem is. All right, so perfect. So that, let me jump out of here. So that, let's recap real quick. So by these four things, I can really start to identify what the problem is. Not just where it hurts, but what the root cause of the problem is. By your story, what does it feel like? We look at movement, then I use my hands. I tell you what, I can help so many people with those four things. So listen, if you're looking for some professional caring help, and you've been in pain for quite some time, and you've tried other therapies, say more other PT or chiropractic, or you've been to the doctor's office and they just haven't been able to help you, you definitely don't want surgery, then I want to help. And I want to offer you a 50-minute visit with myself to come into the clinic, and I guarantee we'll find the root cause of your pain. I'll answer all of your questions, and then I'll start giving you the first step to a long-term solution. So this visit is a $49 visit, and it's the actual cost, and this isn't just here to make up a number. This is the actual cost. It's $198, but I'm giving it to you for $49. So click the link around this video if you want to come into the clinic. I'd love to help you out, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much.